Hello guys, I'm ShipShipMaya here. Today I'm going to show a new history video, and we're going to start out with Egypt, the northeastern part of Africa. Egypt is a transcontinental country spanning over two continents, Asia and Africa, and it's most famous for having a 7,000-year-old history. It all started when the Sahara Desert was actually just forests and all green, lush, but then became desert. Well, not really a sandy desert, because it's more of a rocky desert, like that. It's like really rocky and just rocks and stuff, and it still is most of it. Anyway, they couldn't find food, which sucks, so they started going more inland, because there was a river. The green was surrounding the river, and the green fed them pretty much, which started two new civilizations, Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Now these kingdoms were actually different until one dude named King Minas united them. King Minas then started a new kingdom of Egypt and a new era of time, Old Kingdom Egypt. This was practically the start of Egypt. It was not necessarily a superpower at the time, but it was a power. Then Middle Kingdom, which practically started all the momentums like the pyramids and everything, like Abu Simbel. The new kingdom practically had all the most famous of pharaohs like Hatshepsut, the first female pharaoh, and her son, Thutmose III. One of the possible candidates were Pharaoh and Moses and Exodus stories. Then we have Akhenaten, who liked to be fat in the statues and stuff. He was the father of King Tut. King Tut's practically famous for nothing. We all know he died quite a young age though. The Persians later invaded Egypt. No, not the cats, Egypt's tough cat, but well, the Persians Empire. People from Iraq and Iran, I guess parts of India, and the empire spanned all the way to Turkey and Egypt. And something happened. Jesus was born. After that started AD 1. Egypt wasn't a superpower anymore because Alexander the Great invaded it. Alexander the Great wanted to defeat the Persians, so he decided to invade Egypt. And then when he died, Ptolemy became the king of Egypt, although he preferred the term pharaoh. The last of the Ptolemaic dynasty was Cleopatra, who suicided. The Romans then invaded Egypt, because she suicided, and Octavius or Augustus became king. Knock knock. Who's there? Oh, it's Saint-Mark. Saint-Mark preached Christianity in Egypt, and it's the reason why there's still a small Christian minority in Egypt. So yes, at one point Egypt was all Christian, including all of Europe, North Africa, and Middle East. And knock knock, who's there again? It's Muslims, or more specifically the Arabs. They invaded Egypt, but they didn't come really to Egypt until later, by around 750 AD. And then we skip all the way 1,000 years, because nothing really happened at that time, to the Ottoman Empire, which spanned pretty big, but wasn't as big as the former Catholics. And then Napoleon invaded Egypt. Nothing really happened. He was there for 2 years, and then au revoir France, yes. And then came something more important. Guess who ruled Egypt? Yep, the person who ruled Egypt, his name was Muhammad Ali. No, not that one, the other one. Yeah, that one. He industrialized Egypt, and then they started a new dynasty, in which kings were really called in which pharaohs weren't called pharaohs, but became kings. Kings then ruled Egypt for a while, for around 70 years. Even when the British came, yep, the British invaded Egypt. Egypt became part of the British Empire after World War I. But then, it was granted independence by Britain, and the kingdom still existed, same thing with the kings and stuff. Until the last king was terminated from his king. He was a little baby, but now is old. He's like 60 years old now, and yeah. Egypt then became a republic anyway. So guess what happened? Our first president was Muhammad Naguib. He ruled Egypt for like a year. And then the second president was Gamal Abdel Nasser. Abdel Nasser, I don't know, I can't pronounce it. Anyway, this guy really liked to look up in every picture, seriously. I don't know, like, I guess he really liked birds, like, he just looks in the sky, seriously, I'm not even kidding. Like, he has binoculars in his video, like, I mean, not video, well, a picture from the video. And whenever he shouts, he looks up, even though the audience is down. Just check out some of his videos, it's kind of weird. He's most famous for being an actor in Spider-Man films. Kinda. Anyway, this guy was sort of like the type, but not really. He hated Israel, pretty much. He really hated Israel. And here's why. It's because back then, long ago, there was a king named King Farouk. King Farouk in 1948 decided to do a war against Israel, so Palestine can still exist. Sadly, they lost, which started a lot of wars. First one was the Suez Crisis. This crisis was frankly not really a war, but it's sort of a war. Anyway, the British and French wanted the Suez Canal, so they came, put both their troops there. Then Egypt was like, no. Then they just left and then just stayed there, I guess. And then guess what happened? Cold War time. America and Soviet Union said no, and they said we protect Egypt and you guys get out. And it was a public humiliation for both France and United Kingdom. So they just left. Now this is what happened. A lot of Arab countries started using the flags of Egypt. They started copying it, black, white, or red. Sometimes green, cause, well. Speaking of flags, Egypt loves birds. They love birds, and they love social media. So I think this should be the new flag of Egypt. But anyway, the flag of Egypt changed a lot. Well, quite a lot, by the way. So this was the first flag of Egypt had a bird on it, and then the second one had sort of a hawk on it. It looks ugly. It was only used for like 5 years. Anyway, he built the Aswan High Dam, which stopped the Nile from flooding, which was kind of a good thing. And then, in 1967, Israel invades Syria, West Bank, and Egypt. Gamal Abdel Nasser then dies from a heart attack. It's kind of sad, isn't it? And then Anwar Sadat had, he's kind of sleeping in this picture, but I don't know, this picture is the most famous picture of him anyway. So he made it as a war against Israel in 1973, which was actually a political victory for him, because then he got to make peace. So Jimmy Carter began, and Anwar then make a peace conference in Camp David. Anwar later got assassinated from Islamists who didn't like they had peace with Israel. So his replaced was Hosni Mubarak. Yeah, this guy was kind of an average president, but after ruling for like 4 years, he was kicked out. He was ruling for a pretty long time. Anyway, the Arab Spring started, and yeah, he got kicked out. He was replaced by another government, an Islamist government led by the party called the Muslim Brotherhood, which was led by Mohammed Morsi, who won by a small percentage, as you see. No one liked him anymore because he was like a terrorist, and he was kicked out by a coup d'etat from the military. And a new election in May 2014 started, where El-Sisi was voted president with a huge part of the vote. That's our current president right now. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.